Part 22. Paige and Harry's Private Talk. I stood in the distance as I watched Harry finally lift his head, which was dripping wet. He looked totally stunned and didn't say anything as he started to walk toward me. I could tell tears were welling up in his eyes as I was still trying to calm down from my crying episode. He walked some more and sat down silently. I decided to walk over and sit down beside him. With neither of us saying a word at first, I put my head on his shoulder as he just stared at me. I looked at him and asked with concern, "Harry, what is it? What did you see from those memories?" For a spare moment, he didn't say a word until, "Tell me about yours first. I want to know about what your memories were. I know they had to be special for you." I nodded my head as I told him everything that I saw from the tears I held on to for ages now. I was hesitant to tell him some of it, like coming to find out that Dad was gay. But I told Harry everything anyway. Afterward, he gave me comforting input and thoughts, but got to know even more about me and my past too. "So, Snape was your protector all along? No wonder why he seemed to really care about you." "Yeah, he was. I mean, it made sense since he looked out for me like a godfather would, which is what Dad wanted, for Severus to protect me. Not to mention, too, he watched you and me over the years with whatever we did. As much as I thought I knew about Dumbledore and what I've come to know, him liking males is the last thing I would have thought of." "You're not the only one, Harry. Trust me. What hurts the most is the truth about Dad and his death." I started to tear up and Harry grabbed and held my hand. "Dad may have kept secrets and stuff from both of us. I wish he would have been more honest, but I can understand why he didn't tell us everything. I hope in the end you forgive him." "He was your father, Paige. I know it's hard. It's just going to take some more time to accept it, that's all. Snape was protecting me since first year. I thought the opposite. He loved my mother since they were children." Harry and I shared a glance. "Severus looked out for us secretly, Harry. He sacrificed a lot and did all he could, and hid in small ways to protect us. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you before, but you had to find out in your own time. I didn't even learn some of it till this year anyway. He's the bravest man I've come to know, Paige. My whole point of view on him has changed, really. I think no matter what, I have love for him since I had such a connection with him for so long. We went through a lot together. He loved your mom, Harry, but he grew to love me too unexpectedly in a way that was as genuine as it could be. Anyways, tell me about your memories, Harry. I want to know." I watched him as he took a breath and told me everything he had learned. After he finished, I couldn't honestly believe it. I was in bloody shock with some of it. "So, wait, a part of Voldemort is currently living inside you?" I muttered. "Yes, I mean, Paige, it all makes sense with everything for years on what's been happening to me. I think I knew it for some time now, but I didn't want to admit it. Being able to see into his mind, speaking to snakes, just all of it. I think Ron and Hermione might have an idea too." "Wait, that means in a way, you're a Horcrux and one he didn't mean to create. And why you need to be killed under by Voldemort only? Bloody hell, Harry. No wonder why Dad never told me anything." He nodded his head in response, I guess, meaning I was right about it all. I grabbed his hand, knowing how hard this must be for him to comprehend. He held my hand tightly as I asked, "Harry, what are you going to do?" "I have to go and meet him, Paige. I don't have a choice. I have to die." "This means Harry has to die in order for Voldemort to become weak and for us to defeat and kill him." Tears immediately emerged as I sighed deeply. "Harry, no. Let me come with you, Harry, and help you fight him. I can't let you die." He looked at me and responded, "It has to be only me, Paige. I'm sorry. It's the only way I can defeat him once and for all. I have to sacrifice myself." There was complete silence as I felt tears fall down my face. Anger started to fill up, and I felt my heart slightly break. I couldn't help it. And yet I didn't want this to happen at all. I didn't imagine it could happen so quickly. First, the man I grew to love for years got killed while I watched it, and now my best friend has to die. I had to stand back and watch this all unfold. It's all been done by the same evil man, Tom Riddle, better known as Voldemort. I'm a Dumbledore, Harry, I said softly. Voldemort is partly afraid of me and what I could have learned from Dad. I could help you in certain small ways to defeat... No, I'm not risking your safety anymore, Paige. To be killed. I can't let anything happen to you. That goes for Ron and Hermione also. I looked into his eyes and I could tell he meant it. Harry cares too much about me. He put his hand on my cheek as I stared deep into him. I can't let you do this, Harry. I can't lose you too. You're partly all I have left from losing so many people close to me. I don't want to let you go. I almost cried even more as he muttered, I have to do this, Paige, but I'll find a way to come back alive. I promise. I swear to you that I won't leave you alone. Do you promise, Harry? I promise, Paige. It'll be all right in the end. Don't worry. We'll see this through. I hope you're right, I responded. I smiled small as he saw my smile, which made him smile too. As I continued staring into his eyes, I didn't even bother to notice how close we were all this time. It felt like you could practically feel my heartbeat slowly racing more as silence filled the room. He took a finger and carefully wiped away the tears that were all over my cheeks. I felt my spine tingle as he touched my face. I've not felt this way about him, or have I, for some time now and I didn't notice. I think I'll finally tell him something I've been debatable about saying for a long time. Hey Harry, can I admit something? Yeah, sure, of course, Paige. It's now or never, Paige. You can do this. Tell him the inner truth, I thought. I took a deep breath as he watched me closely. I'm going to be blunt. I'm in love with you, Harry. It's not just because you've been the chosen one or simply being my best friend. I've been in love with you for quite a while now. I think I just didn't notice or didn't want to admit it. Over time, some people could tell, and I think even Severus could too, before he died. Minerva is another person as well, by the way. I don't mean I love you as a friend because I do love you, but I've come to love you a lot more than that. I was so nervous and scared of how he would react, but he didn't say anything for a moment. I watched as our faces slowly inched closer and closer. I felt his breath on the side of my face as his heartbeat was beating as fast as mine. I gently closed my eyes as Harry placed a soft, tender kiss on my lips. I softly kissed him back as we both let go and looked into each other's eyes. I know you knew I felt some type of way for Jenny for a while, but I can't deny how I feel about you. I haven't had much time to think about it, but seeing you after so long made those feelings come back. I feel the same way, Paige. I love you too. I couldn't help but to grin as he wrapped his arms around my waist. He pulled me closer to him for a tight hug. I hugged him back tightly, silently knowing he has to die. When we let go, I asked, what about Ron and Hermione? I think they'll be able to figure it out without me having to say it, knowing Hermione. Are you positive you want to go through with this, Harry? Yeah, I'm sure, Paige. I watched him as he stood up and held his arm out for me. I grabbed onto his hand as I stood up and sighed silently. We held hands and walked out of his office to go and meet up with Ron and Hermione. We held hands the whole way, not bothering to say a word. I lost Severus, my first love. I just got Harry back. Now I'll be losing him. All while coming to terms with losing Dad. As we approached the staircase, I whispered, Harry, can you at least kiss me? Just in case. I stopped walking for a second as he stopped too and looked at me. He leaned in and pecked a soft kiss on my lips as I kissed him back. We started to walk again as I muttered, just don't forget I love you. Okay, Harry? I love you too, Paige, he responded softly. Please take care of yourself, and if you somehow see my dad, Please tell him I love him and miss him. If anything happens, I will. I promise. Within a couple of minutes, we saw Ron and Hermione on the marble staircase. We didn't say anything, but they came up to us. Where have you been? Hermione asked. Ron chipped in. We thought you had gone to the forest. We thought that you might be. I'm going there now. What? Are you mad? No! Ron exclaimed. Tears came into my eyes again as Harry kissed my hand to let go of it. I walked over to stand by Ron and Hermione as Harry responded, It's meant to be. Rubbish, Ron said. You can't just give up yourself to him. I saw Hermione squeeze Ron's arm, which made him not say anything more. We stared at each other as Hermione asked, What is it, Harry? What is it you know? He looked at her as he looked at me. I nodded my head as he sighed. There's a reason I can hear them. The Horcruxes. They looked in disbelief as tears fell down my face, and Harry continued, I think I've known for a while, and I think you've known too. Harry looked at Hermione, and I noticed he couldn't help but to look miserable. I'll go with you, Hermione muttered with tearful eyes. Hermione went up to Harry and gave him a tight hug, wiping away her tears as they fell. Harry looked over at her shoulder to look at me and Ron comfortably. I love you, Harry, I mouthed to him. He let go of her as he looked at the three of us. Kill the snake, and then it's just him. Then it will be over. Hermione held on to Ron as Ron held his hand behind her back, with Hermione grabbing onto my hand for comfort. Tears fell from Hermione and me. The three of us watched Harry walk away until we could no longer see him. I lost my breath as I watched Harry walk away, just like Severus did. It's happening all over again.